Hi guys, this is Ash and you are watching PPTV. Today we have something pretty special in store for you. We're going to be conducting an interview with the CEO of FiR Audio, Bogdan Belenozhko. It's the middle of the afternoon in Singapore now, which makes it 12 midnight where he is, but he still agreed to join us on this interview. Let's check it out.
Okay, Ash, we're rolling.
Awesome, thank you so much for doing this with us tonight, Bogdan.
It's always my pleasure. I know it's mid-afternoon over there, but it's nighttime here. We are in Portland, and it's a beautiful, chilly night.
Can we begin with you telling us more about FiR Audio as a company?
So FiR Audio was started with me and my brother Alex in 2018. We kind of split off of our former company 64 Audio, and we kind of wanted to carve our own path, go to places where no one has been and try to survive. We just wanted to do something very interesting, very modern, kind of a little bit different. And so we kind of started to tinker with stuff, and FiR Audio was born in 2018. And we launched our first IEM in 2019 in April at the CanJam Singapore, actually. So right in your hometown there.
Yes, I remember seeing your stuff at CanJam back in 2019. So to add on to your answer just now, in an age where every single earphone company says that it's modern, interesting and different, what truly makes FiR Audio stand out from the rest?
That's a great question. We have the experience of being in production for a lot of our career in the last better part of a decade. Me and Alex, we were in the lab, and a lot of times we're the first ones building a new product. Alex has this very interesting knack of like knowing what we shouldn't do in a design and what kind of kinks we're going to have down the road before we even have them. And I think that gives us a really solid edge to where we design something conceptual like, but then our experience of manufacturing and being the guys building it for so long that we can actually make really, really cool concepts that are a lot closer to production friendly, but they're still a little bit more edgy.
So you're saying that FiR Audio has the capability to take a product from paper to prototype to production all by themselves in-house?
I think we preserve the concept a little bit better because we dream up of things that we can make, bring visions to life, I guess.
You mentioned that Alex tells you if your crazy ideas can or cannot be executed. So what is the craziest idea you've had that Alex has shot down?
Craziest idea. I wanted to make an IEM that had no faceplate, and he basically told me it's not gonna happen, you're crazy, and it just won't work. But a man can dream, right?
When do your best ideas come?
So oddly enough, our process, our inspiration usually happens at night. And it's usually those nights where you're like, okay, I'm not going to sleep till 4 a.m. And because you trigger an idea and you're like, whoa, what if that could work? So yeah, I come in, it's almost midnight. I'm like, hey, Alex, I have this really cool idea. He's like, what is it? And you got to get the idea out, even if it's late. Like, you got to call, you got to talk about it, because then the next person knows about it. Otherwise, you have these thoughts before you go to sleep or something, and then you wake up and they're gone. Just poof, they're gone. And so that's the process. I guess it's not a short process, but that's the process.
See, one thing that's refreshing to me is how you're approaching this question from such a human perspective. Because as someone who also works in a manufacturer, the answer I'd normally give is how you want to push the boundaries of driver implementation and solve consumer problems and stuff like that. And we're sort of going back to a lot of that now, pushing the limits of driver implementation, especially by numbers. So we're almost falling back into the driver wars. What do you think about that?
Well, when we did the U18 back in 2016, or I think it was, I think that battle has been sort of finished. But I mean, there's a lot of advantages to not trying to stuff that many drivers in, and I feel like there may be some compromises made because an ear ear is not that big. It's sort of getting into the dangerous territory where if you mishandle it accidentally and it lands on a hard surface, you may be out of luck. And these are very expensive earpieces, and I feel like there has to be a limit to where you go, okay, this is a compromise we can't make.
So it's almost like you're treading the fine line between price and feasibility and implementation so that the item doesn't just break down in the hands of the listener or something like that.
And this actually goes back to why Alex is such a juggernaut in the design field. He has so much experience of assembly under his belt. He's seen every ear under the sun. I mean, he's assembled thousands personally, thousands of ears. So he knows what's a no-go. He knows that when a driver package is too big, it's just going to be a headache for the customer because they won't be able to get it because their ear is too small, for the manufacturer because they're going to try to do it and it's not going to work. They'll have to make compromises. It's just not a good thing all around. So I say in the end, I guess if you cut out everything I said because it was too long, but I guess to summarize, what's wrong with putting too much drivers in? I guess it's not necessary. I think we're achieving some really great stuff and not stuffing the drivers in. That's a slogan right there. We're making great stuff without the stuff.
Okay, I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that.
You can quote me on that. Just take it out of context. Just a little quick Instagram. We make good stuff without the stuff. And he's going to be one really hard to compete with other brands.
The next question is one that I think we have all been tiptoeing around a lot. Why? What made you and Alex split from 64 Audio?
I think just seeing differences in the way we fundamentally approach how the company is kind of run. Me and Alex are more of like keep it a little more personal, keep it small. We are, after all, in a very personal business. Someone sticking goop inside your ear, I mean, there's nothing more personal than that. It's a personal cavity, as my brother Roman would say. Having this mentality of like a corporate structure for something that's so intimate, it just doesn't work. It's sort of like a marriage on a conveyor belt. It's just not fun. It's not. I mean, I don't know. Is marriage really fun?
Is your wife listening to this?
Well, if she's watching, it's the best thing since sliced bread.
So it's a desire to keep it small, keep it personal, and have your touch in everything you do.
Yeah, I think we really like to handpick who we work with, and not just a personal with the customer. When you have too many people in kind of a tight kind of quarters, you lose that kind of that vibe where you come in and you're a team, right? You're like you work with people, you're really tight, you can crack a joke, nobody's gonna get hurt, it's a lot easier to flow.
So now we're done with the official-esque stuff, and the next section will be rapid-fire questions and answers. One-word answers will suffice, no explanation needed. Let's get started if you're ready.
It's my favorite part, the rapid fire, because I can say something, stupid and it's fine. It has to be Singapore noodles. Yes, exactly. That's why you don't know what I'm talking about.
Favorite animal?
Would have to be a cat.
I would think it was dog.
Can I tack on to that one just really quick? I actually didn't like cats until my wife surprised our family with one a few years ago. And I quickly realized that cats are very smart and they can take care of themselves.
What is your favorite non-FiR audio IEM?
Has to be the Odin, because Odin in Russian is one.
Okay, I suppose that works.
I know. See, it sounds dumb, like it makes no sense, but this is rapid fire, right? You don't think, you just shoot.
What is your favorite city in the world?
Circuit City. It used to be a retail store that sold computer parts.
Let me just Google that for a second.
I don't think they're in business anymore, but that was my favorite. That was my favorite city.
Okay, that works as well. DD or VA?
I would have to say the DD, because hey, who doesn't like DD, double D?
So my last question was actually cats or dogs, but I suppose you answered that at the start already.
Cats or dogs? How about this? Hold on. You can ask me the question. Cats or dogs? Dogs. Even though my favorite animal is cats, because it makes a cool like beatboxing. Cats and dogs and cats and dogs and cat. No, that's not how it goes.
Okay, all right, that works. Last question, Russian word of the day.
Russian word of the day. Penal. It's actually it's a pencil holder. Yeah, you have to fact check. You can't just take me at my word. I mean, that would be irresponsible.
So Bogdan, thank you so much for joining us on our interview today. You were a joy to chat with. Thank you so much. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for staying here with me. Remember to like and subscribe and check out our social media links in the description, and leave us a comment with regards to what else you'd like to see on the channel. In the meantime, goodbye. We'll see you next week.